So I'm making this video, so I'm hoping that it'll reach out to the right people about what's going on. I went to this church today. It was a 9:30 service, and it's over on it says Prestonwood today, and this is it's at Prestonwood, and I don't know if they have the actual physical address on here. Yeah, it's 6801 West Park Boulevard, Plano, Texas 75093. 9:30 and 11 a.m. They have two services. Anyway, this is a mega church. This is like one of those like big churches that almost kind of look like they have concerts. I've been to this church before. I'm not a big fan of going to big, massive churches like this because it doesn't really seem to focus so much on God sometimes. It seems like it's more about something else. But I decided to go there because there's going to be a lot of people there. There was about a little under or a little over 1,000 people in a crowd. When I got into the church, inside the church, I sat down. 95% of everyone that walked in there was a transgender. Okay, this is not supposed, to my understanding, this church is not a LGBT community-based church. I think I saw maybe one female. I'm not kidding you. Sometimes it is difficult to tell from a distance, but I didn't see one heterosexual female at all, but maybe just one. If that, I don't think I even saw any at all. So, I don't know who's orchestrating this to put 1,000 people inside a church chapel, to have church Sunday and that happening. But I'm going to talk about something that's very frightening and scary. I sat up at the very top of the podium. What do you call? I don't know, call podium. I sat up at the very balcony, at the very top balcony, to kind of not get into deep into what their regular members and people that go there all the time. And they have like their own cafeteria, gyms, schools there. When I got there, they knew exactly who I was. They knew they already have pre-designated thoughts and plans of me, who I was. And if anybody's ever gone to this church, they act like security guards. They act like it's the White House. I get it. There's a lot of people there. There's politics that's involved. But they target certain people. I've heard about this from other people before. I've heard other people tell me that many years ago, I remember people telling me how they sort of approach people, and people that they don't want to go to that church, they usually run them out. But I got run out of that church. I'm not welcome to come back. That's for sure. They don't want me there. But in the beginning of the service, so when I sit down, they already have pre-designated people that are sitting next to me. Okay, and there's a lot of space on both sides, and there isn't too many people in the balcony either. But I can tell that they have security guards, and they're not wearing security outfits. They're wearing business outfits, like they run the business of the church. And they play on a video, these big TV screens. They have two big TV screens, and this guy, Jack Graham, this individual right here, starts talking about some things, and I'm not really paying attention too much. I'm still kind of soaking in the environment and looking everywhere, all over the place. And this individual starts talking, and then I start paying attention, and I just kind of looking at this guy to see, because there's so many homosexuals that go there. Like every female that went there was a transgender. When I was sitting in the lobbies, like in the hallways, in the entrance, the chairs, everyone's staring at me, everyone's like pointing at me, everyone's like running a fucking crusade the entire time. Like it looks really fucking crazy. I don't know. It's like a cult. It's one of the only. I think it's the only place I've ever been in that felt like a cult. It felt like a cult is running that place. And anyway, there was very few Mexican people, if any. I might have saw one or two black couples, maybe one or two Mexican couples. Everyone there is white. And when I got there, when I got to this location, this guy started talking, and he said, and it's somewhere in his speech, because I'm just kind of just looking at what he has to say or how he's expressing himself. And these types of people they look all sort of too clean cut. I don't know, they look superficial. They look like they're all about money. I don't know if you've ever seen documentaries about churches that make hundreds of millions of dollars, and they drive jet airplanes, and they don't give to the poor or anything like that. And the lifestyle that they live is all about luxury. That's exactly what this guy looked like, and probably the people that are inside that place. But when I got there, I try not to make any judgments. I try just to hear the word, hear people talk about Jesus and the church service, positive things and good things. And when this guy's giving his speech and talking, he goes, "Yeah, I just and he does this, and he freezes, and all of a sudden, as he goes, and he goes like that, and I'm just looking like, and all of a sudden, and everyone can see me on the balcony. Keep in mind that when I'm on the balcony, it's like a big auditorium. Everyone can take a look at me. Almost every single person in that church can take a look at me because they know where I'm standing. I'm talking, every single person knew who I was there. And I'm just sitting there. I have nobody over here, nobody over here. There's one person at the very sort of, 15 feet away from me. There's another about 5 feet away from me. And all of a sudden, as this guy starts talking, and he goes like this, they shoot something into the side of my right ribs in this area, and the muscle starts twitching. And this guy's like threatening me live on a fucking television in front of an auditorium that whoever's pointing this weapon at me then just goes like this: "You do what I tell you to do." But this is the amount of terror and fear that's going on. Mikayla, I am telling you that if there's anything else that I need to pray for God, it is for your safety and what is happening to you in the world that you live in. Because it is a frenzy coming after you, bringing subjects of you, your mother, my life. I mean, everything is focused on me and nothing else more. And that entire organization, before I get into that, before I get into anything else, this guy's talking, okay? And he shoots, and he goes like this, and he goes, and he's like grinning and smiling and pointing. And the screen is sort of kind of facing right at me. The other screen is facing toward the other side of the auditorium. So I wanted to say this, that I don't know who's responsible for this, but I very strongly believe these electronic devices have to be, to some degree, have to be illegal. And it's just something, because I'm under so much scrutiny and so much, I have so many people, the gay community, coming after me. I'm not kidding. During this church service, there was the church priest, or not the priest, but the preacher that was talking. He started to bring up topics that seemed very related to everything that's going on in my life. Michael Jackson, celebrities, and Miguel, and the rapes that occurred. These people know everything and everything that's going on in my life. Every strand, every single thing you can ever imagine. They know everything about my life. I don't know who created a profile. It is hiding it and sending it to all the gay and transgender community members that they keep it a secret. It's a secret society that they're doing that. I was terrified to think. I mean, this is a cult. This place looked like a full-blown cult. It is not. I've heard of people talk about that before. I've heard many years ago, and I was like in my late teens and in my early 20s, I heard people talk bad about that place. And we're saying that, you know, the people are not welcoming there very much, and they're very hostile toward people, and they kick people out. They run people out whenever they feel like it. I'm telling you, when I was there, all the white guys that looked like Ken Cooper were running all around me, even approaching me and bringing up senseless conversation. Look, somebody's shooting me right now. Somebody's shooting me right now on my 2 fingers right here, on the nails on my fingers right now. So somebody's shooting me right now on my nails, violently, and it hurt. I'm not kidding. This guy and it's a fucking cult that's going on there. When I was all walking outside the doors, like in the building, sitting on the chair or the sofa, you know, waiting to go inside before church service, they were swarming, just walking by me, just trying to take a shot at me. Like I'm sitting down and they just want to make eye contact and acknowledgement, or they'll try to nod at me, but they always want to feed my evaluation. They seem to get some evaluation from me. Like I'm not doing anything. I'm just people looking and then messing around with my phone, and that's it. But when I first walk into this church, I walk in. There's 2 people, 2 blonde ladies that greet me. One looks like Sarah Cooper though, and they start talking crazy, like they're transgenders. And one of them that looks like Sarah Cooper makes like a hinting threat at me and says, "Do you want me to go with you?" Like this person says, "Do you want me to kill myself with you?" It was like this person was telling me they wanted to commit suicide. Like, I want to go and wait until you die, and I'll go with you. This is what this person was like express, and I don't even know who they were. And you got to keep in mind that I'm as polite as I can. I'm as nice as I can. But the way that person told that to me was not in any way respectable. It was in a way to say, "Do you want me to go ahead and die and kill myself with you? Like, to torture you?" Because they don't want me to run. They want to be confined to whatever it is. I'm not saying this church, but this homosexual, transgender community that is doing this to me. They want to confine that you do we order you like a dog, like an animal, and no one can stop us. And if you keep doing what you're doing, we're going to keep sending people to follow you all the way until they kill themselves, until they die, until they go all the way to the cemetery. They don't give a shit. That's a very lethal, and it's a very disgusting statement to make toward me. But I didn't say anything, and I tried to shrug it off. Like, the way this person said it was like a suicide. Like, I'm going to go and make sure you suffer until I die, because it's just, that's my God belief, is to make sure you suffer until I die. That's exactly the mentality as soon as I walked in. And I'm like, I try to end the conversation as fast as I can. And I sit down, right? And nothing else happens other than people trying to engage, walking up and down. They have these little booths, seminars, and they are all eyes on me like crazy. Whatever it is, there's a couple of police officers. The police officers are in on this. They have these corrupted police officers like fully engaging on whatever it is that they want them to do for personal services. I was continuing to be shot with these electronic devices, not only when I was there, not just when I was there, sitting in the chairs, waiting for about 20 minutes before church service, 30 minutes before church service. But this guy had the audacity to do it live on camera in front of an audience. I'm telling you, every single person there was a transgender. I did not recall seeing any heterosexual females. And if you only have transgenders there, that means everyone there is also, the males are also all gay, or at least most of them. They have to be, all of them. And there wasn't one heterosexual female. There wasn't one heterosexual female in entire place. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's terrifying because I know that there's LGBT community churches and they always talk about their struggles and all this. It's astounding how much power these people have. And they have this, I mean, it was nothing but transgenders. 100%, nothing but fucking transgenders. Every single one of them. And they would walk by me, make statements and say shit, like, so that I could hear what they had to say. And none of it seemed to be good. Everything they seemed to be saying that they were threatening anyone that wants to help me in real life. They are threatening either heterosexual females or anyone that might want to help me in any kind of way. Obviously, there's going to be some gay fellow members. I mean, possibly transgenders, but probably not. But it's very likely you'll find somebody, a gay guy, that knows about what's going on, and then tell these people this information about what's happening. And then they want to go after them. So I think it's important for me to talk about this conversation. I won't be going back to that church. It's very terrifying. I mean, it's like there was a police officer. Let me tell you something. There's a police officer. When the church service is over, I'm sitting down, and they make a cue. They make a cue out of this. They give a signal to make the threat at me. And he makes sure the transgender police officer walks by me and says, "Oh, how you doing?" And so they know that I don't like the police. They know that the police gave me 45 fucking tickets. 40 fucking tickets, cancer, and they were just targeting me. And that's all they fucking did. So the police officers, they all talk among each other, and they're all homosexuals and transgenders, so they all know that I was the target, and they know that I don't like them because of what the persecution of what they did. So this person, a police officer, walks by me and says, "Oh, how you doing?" And I just look and just, "How you doing?" And just quickly just shrug it off and pay attention. And it's just about 5 minutes later, some guy approaches me that's one of the bouncers or some shit at his church, and he tries to engage at me, and he makes very quick talk at me, and they're literally just chase after people. That's what it looked like. I mean, it looked like they were just chasing me out of there. When I got there, when I'm talking to this guy for like a few minutes, you can tell I don't want to have a conversation, and I just kind of sort of just make it very light talk to make it just as simple as I can. And he tries to shake my hand. Now, he tries to engage in shaking my hand so that he can find some sort of way to touch me. And then as soon as he shakes my hand, he crunches my hand like really hard. Like he tries to like crunch my hand like violently and to make a threat. And I kind of shake my hand, I kind of clench back like, "Hey man, like back off, like what the fuck, you know?" Like, and I don't say nothing, but he plays it off smooth, like, "Oh, you're stupid, okay," and he does that, and it's with people that work at that church. But I wanted to say this that I think is important, okay, about what's going on. I don't know who's responsible for doing this. I'm telling you, the fucking preacher was all creating a conversation that was like triggering to target me about Michael Jackson. He goes, "Oh yeah, look, that's Elvis Presley right there. Oh, that's like Neil Taylor or whatever. I don't know, and I talked about Neil Armstrong, astronaut, the other day that one of his co-workers or one of his other astronauts distance like a generations down, and he just met with the guy. I talked about he went to good elementary, and he gave a speech once. But anyway, they all know about Michael Jackson, and so they try to trigger and tickle everything that is about the subject of my life, and they were trying to use the biblical studies and whatever it is that they could that's going to be best benefiting to target towards me. So although I try my best to just keep it, I know that's happening, but I tried to think to myself a different path of life. It's very difficult. Everything that I said in the last few videos, they knew about it. I don't know who has the authority. I don't know who's doing this, but I just know that the police officers are in on it, 100%. They're just playing along with it. What do you want us to do? Who do you want us to arrest? Don't worry, we won't say nothing. They're bringing these electronic devices inside our church. This is what bothers me so much, is that I don't have a right to practice any religion. I don't have any right to practice any kind of religion. It doesn't matter how often I practice it, because they're beating me with the electronic devices, not only in my environment, but they're doing this inside the church. Like right now, as I'm talking to you right now, I can feel somebody shooting me in the back of my head. And you can just hear how he just shut the door. So they're all playing along with this shit. There's the other guy that just across the hall. You just shut the door. So they'll shoot something violently into the back of my head, and then he'll shut the door. And you'll hear the keys, and then you'll hear somebody else over here do something else. So I think it's important for me to say something about this. I can't have a healthy religion. I can't worship any God, because they're shooting me with electronic devices using sick, controlling psychology on me with the devices that they're using. Like, it's very frequent. You know how I talked about being raped and my brother being raped so many times? Well, what they were doing when I was inside the church is they were shooting, they shoot the back of my leg that is in a reference. They kept on shooting the back of my leg under here, and you can feel somebody doing this. And it was an electronic device that they shoot at me because they want to relate their sort of cult leading to, oh no, it's time for forgiveness. These people are all about money, all about exchanges of profitable gain. I don't, honestly, in my opinion, these people don't believe in any authentic God, and you can't be a homosexual and believe. You have to be a straight guy. I don't think there is. You might find 5 people in the United States that is a straight man that is a preacher, but it's terrifying. It looked like a cult. That's what it looked like, and I was not welcome there. I was kind of ran out of there. I wasn't kind of ran out of there. I was ran out of there. And let me tell you, out of this whole experience going there, it gave me more of an understanding how much prejudiced racism is real. How much racism is real. Because racism is very deeply in the homosexuals, the gay men, they're very prejudiced. The white, especially the white guys, because you want to find an excuse to why you were born gay and you're not making white babies. So when you have a straight guy that's like me or black or Chinese or Indian, they make a different color baby, but it's because you're gay that's the reason. So they then become very prejudiced, relying on that prejudice act because you want to continue your race breed. Because I've met plenty of Mexican people that don't like white people or black people, or I've met a lot of them, and it made me think how hard black people have it. It does make me think how hard black people have it, and racism, because the gay community is fucking racist. They're really fucking racist. I can't tell you how many I've come across, and I'm not just talking about people I've known. I'm talking about going to work environments where people that I rarely had any communication with made racial comments. A lot of them, using the N-word, black this, black that, or they're fucking disgusting. A lot of them. Too many to count in so many countless environments, but they're racist. They're fucking racist. They're really racist, and they know everything that's going on. These people are running. I don't know who created this, but they have a full, top to bottom, documented everything, and they're just dispatching all these homosexuals and transgenders. That's all it is. I didn't see one heterosexual female in that entire place. If that doesn't tell you that that's a cult, I don't know what to tell you what it is. That's a cult. That is a cult. there wasn't one heterosexual female. I might try to go to a few other churches, see any of these larger churches. Don't know yet, but I know I'll probably go to a visit to where my dad was buried, and the Catholic Church, because I was born Catholic, and I don't have anything against Christian, but I was baptized and did go to Catholic churches for a period of time, and my dad was very proud to be a Catholic. But I kind of find it all kind of sort of to be the same, a little bit Methodist, Baptist, Christian, Catholic. It all has Jesus photos or biblical stuff to it. It's frightening. Whatever the fuck, it's a cult. This guy did this live on camera. Can you believe it? This guy right here, this senior, his name is Dr. Jack Graham, senior pastor. This guy right here feels confident enough to shoot me live on camera and go and goes like that and shoots me on the side of my ribs in front of everybody. I mean, I'm like on the fucking podium, and when they shot me on my ribs, this is what I do. I go like this. I felt the shoot, and I go like this, and I go like stop shooting me. Like, it's very frightening. I felt like I was getting death threats and death wishes from this individual, from what they were putting together, the entire church. I felt like they were giving me death wishes. Like, we're going to kill you, we're going to get rid of your scum life, we are in charge of everything. They're using these electronic devices, and I think it's important for me to talk about what this is going on, because you don't understand that when I walk in there, and I walk in, especially in any church, I'm not looking for trouble. That is all these people are engaging in. They don't believe in God. I mean, it's fucking... These people don't truly believe in Jesus. They truly don't believe in God. I think it's just sort of a following, and that's why I've heard so much probably bad about that place, even before I had actually ever went there in my life. But, Mikayla, I think this is important for me to talk to you about. In the church service, when I first walked in there, they targeted you in the first conversation. I went and I spoke to the two people. One looked like Sarah Cooper, and the other one was some blonde lady, but they were both white ladies. Blonde lady, really bleached blonde lady. She says, and when you get done with church after 9:30, you can go to him right there, and he'll give you a buffet pass to go get something to eat. And what happened was, that guy that she pointed to, he looked exactly like the guy. They do this on purpose. They're tracking you down. He looked exactly like the guy that was over at the Magic Time Machine you were sitting in front of having a conversation when I had a conversation with you. That guy you were talking to, I could only see a small portion of him. I only got a quick glance of him. But he showed up at that Magic Time Machine. Well, that guy, he looked exactly like, I don't think it was him though. He just looked like him. And he says, that guy right there, yeah, he can give you a buffet coupon to go get something to eat after church. And I didn't eat there. I didn't feel comfortable enough to get something to eat. I didn't feel welcome. And they were sort of running their own shenanigan games. But I say this, Mikayla, because they're coming after you. If they're doing this to me, there's no doubt that whatever environment and people that you're involved, they're targeting you. And there's more stories that I want to tell you about how they targeted our biological father. If he's still alive, if he is deceased, I know that it contributed to what these people did to him, to Hector. Now, my mother named me after him to honor him, and I think it's important for me to talk about this, because there's endless stories that I'm going to be able to tell you on how they started mouthing off and talking really bad about our biological father because your mother was white with blonde hair, and because they were basically making it sound like, now I'm not just saying at this church, but there's many circumstances when I was a kid and growing up that they didn't like, that whoever it was, they sent a blonde woman toward our biological father, and that's how you came into the world. So I think it's important for me to talk about the circumstances about this. I hope my biological father's still alive, but I've had so many people talk so disgusting about him. One of the things that this is very disgusting about, this disgraces the Mexican community. This disgraces the Latin heritage that you have a party of me, because of the rape that they did to me, the transgender they raped me with. The reason that I got raped is 100% these electronic devices. These electronic devices is responsible that it led me to get raped, because not only they weren't saying anything, they were confining me and guiding me to get raped by these electronic devices, so that I couldn't be responsive, but I couldn't protect myself, and I wasn't aware of the electronic devices, and that's why it happened. That is 100% why it happened. These electronic devices were responsible. The people that were shooting them at me and following me and setting them up everywhere, that was responsible for why that happened. And they did it for such a long time, hoping that eventually they could trigger it to happen. So it was plotted against me without doubt. But I think it's important for me to talk about. I hope this touches base. I'm terrified to even want to go back. Like, I'm terrified to want to go in that place again. All the fucking people there, even the people that weren't even the security guards, they're behaving like military gay members. They were behaving like a military. Whatever these people were doing, they're mentally, it's fucking crazy. It's a cult. That's the best way I can explain it. It's a cult. It's not anything else that's going on there. I can feel right now as I'm talking to you, there's a tremendous amount of pain starting to feel, and I think it's important for me to talk about, because if my life begins to deteriorate in health in many circumstances, these electronic devices will be responsible for my stroke or heart attack or my death, because I won't be able to report it to the police. I won't be able to be responsive, and these people are not going to get caught. If nobody's going to investigate this and stop these electronic devices, they're not going to do it when I'm dead. They're definitely not going to do it when I'm dead. So I think it's important for me to talk about this. It's very important. It's very terrorizing, because they were behaving like very hateful, like hatred, like persecution and hatred. That's exactly how they were behaving. I had one guy approach me and just charges at me, like walking really fast, and like points to my face and he goes, "Oh, is that your hat? Is that what you are? Is that your hat? Is that what you are?" And then kind of smirks and laughs at me as he walks away, and like trying to scum me or some shit. So I think I think it's important for me to talk about it. I can see why these people, there's so much racism in the gay community. It's fucking crazy, because I've talked to so many people that were gay that were racist as fuck. They were really fucking racist, like to the very bones. And you could just, it's crazy, but it's like military gays and transgenders, and they have their own secret society there. In my opinion, these people don't believe in God. I think the majority don't, in my opinion. And I think that whatever is going on there is something else. It is a church service, and that's been going on. It's so wild, because I've heard so many stories about it. I've heard of so many bad things about that place from so many different people. I really don't know what to make of it, but in my opinion, looking at that pastor whenever he was on camera or on that TV, that guy did not look like he believed in God at all. That looked like a business matter. And he didn't look like he believes in God in any way. This guy looks like he could kill people, and he feels the same mentality way as a soldier in Iraq having to get a AR-15 and pick it up and explode somebody's head off. That is a very different mentality. Not only are they young, there's also Mexican and blacks that are doing that. And this to apply that type of method of thought and belief to target to human life, my human life that way, is murder. That is very lethal. Those are cults. That's evil. And that's the way that they process shit. But it looked crazy. I was looking at this dude's eyes. Nothing about it says Jesus or God or light of angel. Nothing. It's very evil, like sick mentally. Whatever is. Nothing of that seemed very white and light. Even though he's all white, the white guy didn't seem holy. Nothing about that seemed holy. But I do the best to just look away, shrug off, and not worry about it. But I know that it's happening. So anyway, I thought I'd make a video how terrorizing this place is. They know that I'm going to be traveling to Jerusalem. I talked about this when I hopefully earn my GED when I get to Rhode Island. If I have to get up and fucking leave, start living on the streets, that's exactly what I'm going to do. At this point, the police officers don't want to get involved, and there's a lot of bad shit that's going on. But when I get to Rhode Island, if I have to leave and go to a different state to reapply for my teeth, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave. And if I'm not welcome there, I have to get up and leave. All I know is they're just trying to drain out my life. That's all that they're doing. And move me from places and keep me away from heterosexual females. I know that there's heterosexual females trying to reach out to me. I know that there is. But they're working all in teams against me to prevent me from touching, communicating, and talking to a real-life female, not transgender. If you are born with balls and a penis, you are not an authentic female. It's fine if you want to think to some extent that you are, but you're not. You don't give birth to real-life babies. Speaking of that, too, when I was in that church, there was a transgender that would walk by me that had a fake baby pregnancy. Like, have you ever seen women, or the transgenders, for those that think they can experience what birth is? They actually wear a fake, like, bubble around their stomach to make them feel like they're pregnant or something. That's what one person, a transgender, was doing whenever they were walking by me inside the church. But I don't know really what to think of this, because I know these people over there are probably watching it. I think these people, I feel, were killers. They were murderers. It's very disgusting. I feel more threatened there than I was in Las Vegas. But like I said, I thought I'd make a video on this. It's fucking terrorizing. Whatever's going on there, I can see some of they all know about Sarah Cooper. Whatever these people are doing, they were sending people. I was sitting down. They were sending people that they were dressing themselves up and wearing a hat like they were detectives, and they were going after the enemy. Like they were wearing a Tom Laundry hat with like feathers on it and boots and shit, and it looked like Sarah Cooper standing in front of me, or from a distance from me, like spying on me, wearing sunglasses, like just stalking to see who you can stalk and follow. That's exactly how they were behaving when I got there. And I saw that individual there, but they were just like, all attention and all eyes were on me. There was nothing else. Nobody else was talking or doing anything. And there's hundreds of people and walking all over the place. That's all they were paying attention to. Like they were doing nothing. And I was just sitting down looking at people. Obviously, I don't match their clothing. But I'm just sitting there looking at people, just, looking, see who's coming through the door. If there's going to be a heterosexual female, like a straight couple that walks in on a church day. There wasn't any. There wasn't any. I understand they got little children that are transgenders. whatever that experience. I understand that part of life, that they identify that. I do understand. This is not about being discriminative. This is because they're prejudiced and very discriminative, and they're not understanding to my heterosexual and my identity. And whatever it is that they're doing is a cult. Not just there, but whatever these transgenders are doing is fucking. I had a guy. Let me tell you something. When I was in Colorado, Denver, Colorado. Just felt somebody shoot me in my eyelid right here. When I was in Colorado and I worked at the ski resort, I lived with this Mexican guy, and I got along with him pretty good up until I left, and he didn't seem to. He seemed to sort of, just kind of get cool until I left. But he told me, like a week before or 2 weeks before I left. I only worked there for about a month and a half at the ski resort, at Crescent Beach Ski Resort. And when I was there, and I was living in this hotel with him, we got along. We got along really great. It's one Hispanic I got along with, but I talked to him, and he told me, and he says, "No way, esos allí sí son locos." And in Spanish, he told me, he says, "Yeah, those Mexicans, those transgenders right over there, they all are fucking crazy. Those transgenders are really crazy. They're mentally fucking crazy and fucked up in the head." Without a doubt, I believe him. Even before he told me that, I think, in my opinion, gay men have a better straight head by far than any transgender has a possibility to. I think transgenders are mentally sick. I think they are mentally sick. They have to be. And I think that, to run around with tits and a penis and balls and dress up like women and do everything a practice of women, that's an identity crisis that is happening. I don't hate them. I think everyone's a human being. And obviously, because I have a sister that had Down syndrome that was very sick and died, and she was not normal like the rest of us. But without a doubt, much more mentally sick with transgenders. I think gay men have the ability to do more evil in this world than anything else. I think they have the ability to drop atomic bombs more. I believe they are better at easily killing human beings and not feeling remorse. I believe that nature is more tougher in them, for sure, without a doubt. That they have the ability to easily kill human beings, whether poisoning them, raping them, doing all kinds of things. They have that more of ability and comfort in doing that, without a doubt. They're tend to be much more evil in that sense, by far, than straight men. Like, if you got the hardest core gay member and you got the hardcore straight guy, I think a gay guy can easily it's just their nature. It's more in their nature to do hatred, destructive, like more dark mental behavior. But I do believe they're mentally much more healthier than transgenders. Transgenders are mentally sick. This guy told me when I was working there, he goes, "No, those are crazy, man. You got to be careful with those." And it's crazy because I've had someone else tell me that. I don't know where it was. I can't remember where it was, but they told me something. Someone had said something like that to me before. He says, "No, those are really fucking crazy." I heard about this as well. With transgenders, that there was I think it was Derek Carter, a DJ, famous Derek Carter DJ, who I met a couple of times. He said in an interview videos, he goes, "You got to be careful because I've met a lot of these transgenders." He goes, "They're fucking crazy. They wear like razor blades and shit between their toes and shit. They got knives and shit in their tits. I mean, they'll fuck you up, and they're crazy. They're fucking crazy." And there's no doubt in my mind that you know, I think obviously some are more mentally ill than others, but I was really bothered because too many people were really trying to pay attention to me, and the focus was just too much on me as I'm there, and just to persecute and just like it shouldn't be that. You know, if I go in there and hardly anybody fucked with me or knew who I was or anything, then I'm going in there. It's probably more suiting because I'm able to pay attention to more about what the positive words that are being spoken as opposed to anything else. But I got more enemies that want me dead. It's very. I took that very much felt that as a death threat. When somebody, and this individual, here gets on a live television, I don't know if it was live or pre-recorded, and he goes like this, he goes, and he goes like that, and then he shoots the side of my ribs, like over here, and he goes like that, and I immediately pick up my hand and I go like, what the fuck, like, and everyone can see me in this place. Everyone can take visual looks at me, but anyway, I thought I'd make a video. These people, they know everything about every friend that I communicate with. Mother, father, sisters, everything. Mikayla, please be careful out there. We are a part of the straight community, and I'm very scared and nervous about what could be happening in your life. I do have my tattoo of you on my hand and this heart, and I hope that, God's protection of the clouds, of God, the universe, Jesus, whatever positive friends, light of God protects you, because you are a target. They're going to confine you where they want to place you. And I hope that these people are demonstrating, even at that church, that they're going to control you, tell you, and put you where they want to. Keep you busy at your job, can't focus on anything else, keep giving you work, or telling you certain things. This is a military behavior that these people were doing at this church. It was military behavior. You're not in the military. And this is a church service. I understand. I don't understand the dynamics of having a lot of people like that, but it's not welcoming. These people know that I'm not going to be going back to this church. These people know I haven't been at that church until 5 years ago. But you know everything about my life. You know that I'm not likely to come back even if it was a good time there. I'm not likely to. I'm leaving in a month from now to Rhode Island. You just want to do that shit to me to act persecuting, and that's really what you're doing. I look fucking murderous and crazy and shit when you do that. I mean, the craziness in this individual's eyes, it just looks fucking crazy. I don't know. I can see how all this racism is happening. Without a doubt, how all this racism works and happens, because there's some dark, evil people out there. They're mentally... On my way there, I see this homeless guy panhandling in the streets. I go to a church, people are driving $60,000, $70,000 cars. On my way back, I'm pretty sure they paid this guy to do this. This is who they paid to do this. There's a guy that shows up, look, he's homeless, and he's in tattered clothes, like really, really tattered. Like he's been sleeping next to an oil pit of grease and trash repeatedly. Black guy, bald, the clothes looks very tattered. And I know, because I've been homeless for a very long time myself, and I know a lot of the circumstances better than anybody. and that guy was paid. Someone paid him to walk around me and just start walking around the Addison Transit Center, bus and train station. Just walking around, make sure I visually see him, and then there was other people walking around following me. But, there's people panhandling everywhere. There's a lot of people panhandling. There's a lot of people that are homeless. I heard about this, and it's so crazy about this. And one of the ways that I know that the gay community is also very racist toward one another as well, and willing to go against each other at times, is because I saw a video on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure, I'm positive a lot of people hate this guy. And he goes to these churches and targets these pastors that fly around in jet airplanes, private airplanes, and they own, $30 million houses and whatnot. This individual was going even to, I forgot what one of the other famous Christian pastors, I don't remember his name, but he went into this church, and this guy's gay. I mean, I'm 100% this guy's gay. And he goes into these churches, and he's like a Mexican guy, but American. I don't think he speaks Spanish or very little. And he goes into these churches, and he kind of looks like my brother Frankie, a little bit kind of body shape, size. And he goes into these churches, and he's saying, it says right here in this documentation that you have a jet airplane, you own a $40 million house. There's people starving to death. Do you give any of your house or any of your money? Do you think it's okay for you to be living like that when there's people suffering all over, and you talk about you believe in God? There's a lot of people suffering. Are you actually helping anybody? So I thought I would say something about this. I thought I would say something, and I thought I would say something, and it would be very benefiting for me to make a video about this. But this guy said on this YouTube video, and some of these pastors, and they fit the description, and they look like this guy. A lot of them, they look like this guy. They look like they've been like a cookie cutter, like molded and shit, and went to all the best hair designers and finesse themselves, all kinds of crazy. But this guy goes to these places, and he targets, and he starts yelling at them, and he gets kicked out of the churches because he's telling them, you made close to $70 million a year, and there's people starving to death. Do you think it's okay for you to be riding in a jet airplane, and yet there's people living in the streets? He goes, I thought you believed in God, and you keep talking about God. Where's your God there? And this guy's very blunt, and I know that this guy's gay. 100% I know he's gay, but he's willing to do this. So it's pretty wild and crazy when I see stuff like that. I guess it's a couple of people that I've seen do that, but it's some guy on the YouTube channel that I've seen do that before. Anyway, I thought I'd make a video, and Mikayla, please be careful out there. I don't know if I'm ever going to see you again. I hope to God I do before anything bad happens to me, health, anything. I hope I come in contact with you.